Well, good evening to everyone out there in internet land. Hi, and how are you doing? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. Welcome to the Thursday night session of Chattin On The Porch. A fun little live stream we do Monday through Thursday, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, usually, to talk about news and views on the news. But tonight, we are dialing back the time of the start to accommodate a very special guest. Somebody that's near and dear to my heart in social media and one of the coolest ladies that you are ever going to have the pleasure of hanging out with. And she is able to be with us for a little while before she starts her live stream a little bit later. So we're going to get to the conversation here momentarily. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little social media platform known as YouTube. So if you don't mind, please do me some favors. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube and Rumble. I would genuinely appreciate it. And as always, hit that thumbs up. Leave some comments in the chat. It helps with the algorithm. For some strange reason, he likes that sort of thing. Also, share the link around. Tell your friends because we got somebody who really ought to be listened to for a lot of different reasons. Again, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, sometimes known as the fine fella in the fedora. On occasion, I'm called the common man with common sense, but above all else, I am known as your host. Again, we're on Rumble, we are on Twitter, we are on YouTube, so tell your friends to get in here. Settle in, folks, because we're about to have a load of fun this evening with this young lady who is our special guest. And with that, I will start dialing down the music, and we will get to the introduction. If you are a fan of the comic strip Dick Tracy, and you maybe remember the film, you will know that our hero was blessed to have someone in his life, a female protagonist who went by the name Tess Trueheart. Well, the movie and the comic strip may have come and gone, but we here on social media have our own version of a hero who is affectionately nicknamed Tugs Goodheart, though I have no idea where she got that nickname. She is a social media content creator. She is a commentator. She's a streamer. She's a gamer. She's any number of different things. But right now and for tonight, she is our guest. She is the hostess of her own channel on YouTube, ThatTuggLife. And she is also all over social media like an absolute fiend. Ladies and gentlemen, the Electronic Front Porch is honored to welcome one of the coolest ladies in the whole of social media, ThatTuggLife.
Good. Hire you to compliment me all the time. I feel so fluttered.
Madam, as I tell my guests all the time, we are running a tin can and string operation here that is powered by cheap surplus Ukrainian equipment. But the least I can do is give my guests a very good welcome and a good intro if it's in my power to do it.
My stars.
Darling, aren't we going to have fun this evening? Anyway, now, because you're here, and I very rarely ever do this, and you can ask my audience, let me do the honorary pour.
Oh, that's a big one, too.
This is West Virginia. Go big or go home. I don't care what you Texans say. I don't care what you Texans say. Daggone. You might do it with whatever down there, but we make moonshine. So, there you go.
Ooh.
And for anybody who's wondering what we have got, we've got
blueberry. Oliver. We really like the lemon one. The Oliver lemon. That one's so good.
A friend of mine gave me a bottle of blueberry Moscato recently, and I just fell in love with it. I'm like, oh, good goodness. And by the way, it looks like the fan club is already popping in the house. We've got Miss Z Highness. Let's see. Robert is here. Tiny Tesla. Oh goodness, yeah, you've got quite the few coming on in.
Tiny Tesla. Now that's an oxymoron.
No, we'll get to some of that. All right.
I like the name. Hi, Tyler. I see you.
First, to you, Goodheart. Thank you so much for coming on the channel. Cheers. WWG1 over on Rumble says, you think the wine glass is big? You should see the whiskey glass. All right, let's not be telling tales here, okay? You wing nuts over on Rumble, just cool it. All right?
We went to Fort Worth for our anniversary last weekend. We're already spiraling. I've been here 5 minutes, and I should have bought it, but I took it home with me. It was a shot glass that was the size of a normal whiskey glass. And it said on it like Texas sized shot glass. And on the back, it had like, can't hang, true cowboy, and like cheesy stuff on the back. But it was literally, my hand couldn't fit around it. It was I was like, oh my gosh, I should have bought it. I
Oh,
don't drink
heavens
whiskey,
to
but I should have
Murgatroyd.
bought it.
All right. It is so good to have you here. The last time you and I saw each other face to face was down in Orlando. The only time actually that we saw each other face to
Mhm.
face was down in Orlando.
Yeah.
And I remember it fondly because I got there just and you started to walk by, and drunk 3PO, who's if you don't know anything about Jay, he's a unique character. He walked by and had this very half blitzed look on his face, which isn't really all that different from most times with Jay. But Tugs, I told you, let it rip. I mean, don't worry about being reserved on this live stream
Listen,
tonight.
for somebody, you're not wrong, because for somebody as big as he is, he's like 6'4" and built like a linebacker. The man, you get half a beer in the man and he is tipsy. It's hilarious. I'm like,
So yeah,
Jay.
so he walks by and I kind of give it this look like, the actual hell was that? And you're like, yeah, I know. And then I said, good heart. And you went, oh, it's you. And you gave me the most wonderful hug, and we just chit chatted for a few minutes, and you introduced me to that feller in your life, but we'll get to him in a little bit.
Yes, he was
Um,
so overwhelmed, poor guy.
yeah, yeah, I was gonna say, if you've never been to a meetup of the Geeks and Gamers Nerderotic crew, that is a sight to behold. That is
I
no
tried to
faux show.
warn him. I did try to warn him. I was like, listen, you don't have to, like, you can just relax. I'll be gone for a couple of hours. It's fine. He's like, no, 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 I'll come with you. And deer in the headlights, like, what is going on? Are
You
these
you know,
people standing in line to meet Gary? Like, yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like, but the line goes out the door. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's
yeah,
normal.
that's about normal. Yeah. Oh goodness, such fond memories. All right,
It was a
because
good meetup.
I know I got a limited amount of time here, and I got a bunch of topics I want to get into. Um, for those who are watching this now and they're not familiar with you or your channels, would you do me the courtesy of telling everybody where you're from, where were you born, tell us about your family, and your travels? Because I give you this: you are a well-traveled lady. I mean,
Oh yeah.
in well, no, in now before some of y'all out there get the wrong ideas, what I'm referring to is number one, by reasons of family, she's moved around the country a little bit, and by reasons of the fact that she's got the biggest case of wanderlust I've ever seen. This girl loves to travel.
Thank
Okay,
you.
so
Thank
with that, I give you the floor.
I do love to travel. Well, for those of you, and I'm sorry, I have a noise counselor, but I'm a counselor, so you shouldn't hear it. But just in case, the mowers have decided to show up at 5 o'clock at night. Anyway, so I'm sorry about that if you do end up hearing it. But
What?
for those of you, I know, for those of you who don't know me, I am Tugs. I'm born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada. I lived there for 30. How old am I? 36 years of my life before recently moving to Texas, which I will have been here already in Texas a year coming November of this year already. And yeah, I travel a lot, especially during the beer bug situation when flights were literally $11 round trip. I was going back and forth to Florida all the time. I used to run the Park Hoppin' channel on Geeks and Gamers with Jay, and just travel. Anyway, I love traveling. So Florida is one of my favorite states. So I used to go there a lot. Used to live in Florida. I used to work for Disney. Worked for the police department. I used to work for animal control. I used to work for the animal shelter. I worked for a hotel in Vegas. I've done all kinds of stuff.
Now that's got to be something interesting growing up, because let's be honest. When you tell someone, "Oh, I grew up in Las Vegas," there's probably a million and one thoughts that goes through one's head.
Yeah.
Um, what was it like as being a teenager, and then as an adult, young adult, and still you're a young adult, you know, being in growing up in Vegas?
It's honestly, I didn't realize, I didn't know the reputation. Like you always hear about it growing up, but it's for those of
Mhm.
us that grow up there, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. It's just another big city. But I didn't realize the kind of reputation it had until I was in high school. And my Spanish teacher sent me, she nominated me, and I think I was the only nominee, so I got to go. There's this, I don't know if they're still around, but there used to be this company, I guess is the best way, group, organization, whatever, called the National Young Leaders Conference. And they would do a thing where they take like about 14, I think is the youngest, and then up to like 17 in that high school age, trying to figure out what we want to do with our lives. And they do these things where you go for like 2 weeks. It was so much fun. And I stayed in Washington, D.C. for like 2 weeks with a bunch of other kids my age from all over the country. And it's an incentive to get more kids like into politics, like, oh, become a senator or whatever, that kind of thing. But on our badges, it had my name and then Las Vegas, like where we're from. So Las Vegas, Nevada. And by the end of it, I finally had just given in, and I had a whole story made up about how my godparents were Siegfried and Roy. And I lived because people really believe this, that we live actually used to believe that we actually live under the strip, that there's no like houses. We just all live under the strip and we all work in, the hospitality industry. I was telling, and I don't know any better. I'm 14. So I'm like, what are you talking about? So like in other states, a lot of other states, in high school, you have like majors, a lot of kind of like in college, you have like a major and a minor or whatever, so that you can start getting credits towards college. Well, in Vegas, we don't have that. Nevada's not that way. And so they were like, well, what do you do in school? Like, what's your major? And I was like, well, I'm a dancer. I was on the dance team. And I'm like, I'm a dancer. And they were like, oh, they teach that in school? They were horrified. They're thinking I'm training to be a stripper. And I'm like, oh, okay. So my closest friends that I made knew that it wasn't true, but I had a whole story. Siegfried and Roy were my godparents. I was going to school to be a dancer, but as a backup, I was doing a backup in waitressing, like cocktailing. Most men either go to school to be a bartender or like a bouncer of some kind. You could also be a cop if you wanted, because we need those. Like I had a whole story. And some of these people from like small, super, and I feel so bad now that I'm an adult, but the super small bohunk towns that don't know any better, they all believe me. They all it was crazy. Like, holy cow. But my dad always said, he's like, oh no, people believe the wildest stuff about Vegas. And I didn't believe him until I went to DC and met all these different people, especially at a young age. And they were like, wait, they teach you how to do that in school? And I'm like, it's just a dance. It's a dance squad. We perform for the football players. What are you talking about? And they legit were thinking that I was going to school to be a stripper.
Oh, Lord. Well, Corey here's got a great idea for something you should have added to the story if you didn't put it in.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I did. I worked the people. I was
you worked the people. Yeah.
Oh,
now I've got to ask you about Texas.
Mm-hmm.
It is a fascinating thing to me. Because I mean, look, the social media content creators that I've run into are sort of spread out all over the country. But that said, there's a concentration of them in at least 3 different places. Tennessee is one, Florida's the other, but Texas, my God, you all have, what is it with you all in the free Republic of Texas?
I have no idea. I know Gary moved here from California during everything.
Nerdrotic is one. Yeah.
Yeah, Nerdrotic. And then, but I think Eric July has always been here. Melanie Mack has always been here. And Steph, my nerdy home, lives in Texas too, so she's always been here. But yeah, we all just kind of congregated. I always told Duke, I was like, I always have either wanted to live in Texas or Florida. Like those were my 2. My only hiccup about Florida was I don't do well with hurricanes. I'm not a big weather girl, so we don't live in like the tornado panhandle alley, whatever. No, that kind of thing. So it was like, well, he was like, I've never really been to Texas before. And so I have friends that live out here. And so that are non-YouTubers that we would come and visit, randomly throughout our last 2 years together. And he was like, oh, I like it here. And he got a really good job. And here we are. Well, I don't know why we're all here, but we're all here.
Well, there you go. And TBA over on Rumble says, well, at least as a stripper, she'd have had a trade. Disavow. Come on now. This is a respectable lady.
Wrong.
Well, he's not wrong, but still, I disavow. TBA says the Free Republic of Texas is the whole reason for living in Texas. Free Republic. Amen, brother.
Yeah,
amen.
That is true.
Yeah, and Corey is right. I forgot about Arizona, but there's a bunch of them out there too.
Is Arizona a popular one? I didn't know that. I know Beagles,
apparently so. Yeah, I mean, there's Gary Beekler, aka Nerdrotic. Comics Division is out there. You're out
Comics in Texas. I didn't know.
Yeah, he and Gary are in San Antonio. They're both. I mean,
they're both in San Antonio.
Yeah, Quarter Black Garrett's out there. Carrie Smith, Peter Feliciano. I mean, there's just a blue slew of y'all out there. It's
For
just
everyone.
insane. You
We
know,
all thought that if we're going to get shut down as YouTubers, at least we won't get shut down as a state.
and Mad Mardigan's out in Texas. I did not know that, but thank you,
Yay.
small time. I appreciate that. Yeah, you'll find my
Wow.
chat to be full of very fun people. They most of them you know, some you may not. But trust me, you're going to fit in real well around here because we're all about half baked, and not to say that you're half baked, but I'm just saying we're all just a little
Just
tetched,
half
as we say.
winoed. It's fine.
Okay. Well, by the way, your turn.
Oh,
Yes.
what do we toast? Do I pick a topic?
You pick a topic. You can toast whatever.
Oh, well, since we're on the topic, toast to Texas.
God bless Texas.
Thanks for letting me buy raw milk. Appreciate it.
There you go. To raw milk. There you go. All right, I got the next one. Boy, that stuff is good. Anyway. Okay, now you are known for a number of different things. All of them good.
Everywhere. Yeah.
That's why I added the caveat, all of them good. I didn't want to get, it's first time on the channel. I don't want you thinking, Anyway, gaming, Star Wars, amusement parks, among other loves.
Yeah.
Okay, at the tender age of that you are, where well, I was gonna do something in the 20s, but then you went ahead and told everybody your age, and then you just well,
Oh no, I don't hide it. I'll be 37 in a month. It's fine.
Oh, you will not. You
I don't have any
lie.
grades yet, so I'm
You
doing well.
you lie like a bad
I
rug.
swear. I know, I swear.
Okay,
I swear.
so these loves of your life, which you are known for, and you are you're sharing with people your passions on the internet. Where did your loves of gaming, Star Wars, and amusement parks come from? Was this a family thing? Was this a high school thing? Was this friends? There's like, oh, hey, this is cool and I really want to do this. You came onto it by yourself. What happened?
So the video games, for the life of me, I can't remember. We had like PlayStation and Nintendo 64, and I've always enjoyed gaming, and it was just like a fun escape kind of thing. But Star Wars, my dad makes fun of me, but it's his fault.
Oh, really? Oh, it's dad's fault.
It's all his fault. It's still to this day, he's like, if I could go back in time, because I have not now because I'm in this trailer, but for my old setup, for those of you who've been following me, I used to have I had action figures and they're all packed away now, but I went full out on Star Wars. My dad used to talk about Star Wars because he was around because he's old, when the first ones came out. And so he would talk all the time. As I got older, I love movies in general. And he would talk all the time about Star Wars and how, watching the first one in theaters, it was insane. He was like, it felt like we were at a sporting event. People were literally throwing drinks at Darth Vader, like, boo this man. I mean, it was a thing. And it was something that, and we all know this, George Lucas revolutionized sci-fi fantasy pretty much. And so, he was doing things that nobody had ever seen before and also. And so he would just go on and on. And so for years, I grew up knowing about the Star Wars, but I had never seen it. And then the 20th anniversary, in 97, they re-released they did the special editions in theaters. And so he took me and my sister. So I was like 10. And that was it. I fell madly in love. I was obsessed. We found as many books at the time, the EU was still alive and strong then. And so I was like, I want to read all the books. I have the movies still on VHS. I have them on original DVDs. I have them on a Blu-ray. I have them on, I fell madly in love. And so it's his fault, really. Is he that nerdy over it? No, he is not. He doesn't understand the obsession at all. Nope.
But when his daughter found it, it was like, I'm hooked. Thanks, Dad. And you're like, Dad's like, oh, mother of God, why?
Yeah. And I also tell Dad, I also tell him too, I think he forgets. But I was like, you also introduced those movies to me right around the time. It was right the year before my parents got a divorce. And so those movies really, which as many theories got stories, about how Star Wars helped him and saved him almost literally and all this stuff. So just as with a lot of other people my age and older and wiser and whatever, Star Wars, some people it's Star Trek, some people it's Marvel, whatever, that came at a pivotal point in my life. And so it was there for me when really I didn't have a whole lot of anybody else as a kid for me, because I was going through this trauma not know I'm old enough to understand what was going on, but not old enough to be able to deal with it because, you're 10 and like all this chaos. And anyway, so I was like, you also forget that, like that also, I was a big movie person anyway. I've loved movies my whole life and, behind the scenes, especially. And so then you throw that at me on top of going through a trauma.
Yeah.
Really, it was inevitable.
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
now talking about amusement parks, and this is kind of going to lead into the next topic. I'll tell you what, I have never seen anybody with and I can guarantee you, I know what's going to happen to you as you become more seasoned. Notice I didn't say you're going to get older, because you ain't going to get older. You're going to get seasoned.
Yeah,
As you become with a little bit of garlic, exactly. Which whenever it's like I'm around garlic, women are like, "Get away from me, for God's sake." I can just see what's going to happen. You're going to be that seasoned person at the amusement park, and you're going to be like, you have the most childlike love. Put you in an amusement park, and you have just gone to heaven. It's like nothing I have ever seen, because I've watched the videos on your channel, on X-Ray's channel, and y'all just, when the two of you get together and go to an amusement park, or even when you're by yourself, you just it's not going to matter how old you get. You will be that way. So is it much like Star Wars? It was that same way. You went to the first amusement park and you're there.
I'm trying to think where I've always loved Disney. I think a lot of us 90s kids have, but I've always loved Disney. We went to the theme parks when I was the first time with Disney, specifically and SeaWorld over in California, probably about when I was 9 or 10 or so. And we had fun. It was fun, but I don't know. It was as I got older, it changed. I started to be a little bit more adult, which is so weird to say because it's Disneyland. But as I got older, like a friend of mine growing up, she they do this trip to Disney that raises money for charity and blah blah. So as I got older, we got to go more, and it was more of a freedom. I'm tall enough to ride all the rides. I don't have my parents telling me no. I can kind of do whatever, and so I got to really absorb it and enjoy it, which sounds so backwards because it's designed for kids. But then it just, like, I loved back in the day. It was, you all know, it was so magical going there, that it was so fun. And it was a different world, and you could immerse yourself. And still to this day, Minnie Mickey Mouse gets me all like, and then, when I was in college, they came to our college campus and was like, "Hey, you want to come work for us?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so I did a college thing in Florida for 6 months, and oh my gosh, it was so fun. It was so fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I don't know. I love it. And it's breaking my heart to see it now versus then. Even when I went and worked there in 2008, it's so different. It's so different. Yeah. I miss it.
Absolutely. And before we go on to our next topic, since I've got the next toast, to James Earl Jones. May he voice God in heaven for all eternity. It's James. All right.
I refuse to believe that one.
I say they cloned him. I think they cloned him. He's not
gone. It's all a fake April Fool's joke. We're a little early, but it's fine.
Look, he's just hanging out with Elvis and Tupac at this point, okay? He's not gone. Gosh.
Can you imagine all those guys? You got Elvis, you got Sinatra, you have Dean Martin, James Earl Jones. At one point, hopefully not anytime soon, but I'm just predicting the future, Morgan Freeman. You got the voices that are going to be in the same. Listen, if my entry into the pearly gates isn't narrated by either James Earl Jones or Morgan Freeman being like, "Hey, Tuggs, you made it," I'm going to be like, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I can just hear now. I can, or better yet, I can do you one better than that. I can just see what's going to happen. You get to the pearly gates, and this one's going to be standing there going, "Hey, doll, want a toddy?"
Oh, I just love him. I love him. I can't wait to ask Frank Sinatra all the questions. I have so many questions about his involvement in the mob, and like, did he kill Marilyn Monroe? It's a whole conspiracy. We don't have time.
Yeah, I know. Bless our hearts. I'm telling you, you've all. Look, we're not even done, and I'm telling you now, you've got standing invitation. All you've got to do is message me and go, "Hey, Brian, I got something burning on the brain. When can I come?" I'm like, Let me check my calendar. You got it.
I started listening to the audiobook of Killing Kennedy by Bill O'Reilly, and I have like a list of questions. It is not helping me with my conspiracy theories, I tell you what. Anyway.
Well, now that's sort of amusement parks and the toast kind of leads us to a discussion of one of the other things that you are so known for in social media, and that is your association with this fun bunch
of these idiots.
now, wait a minute. You can't call them idiots. You can't call the gang over Geeks and Gamers idiots. Although with Ivan Ortega, you could call him an illegal immigrant, but I mean, you can't call them idiots. I mean, for the love of God.
No, I don't know. Have you heard
Ivan is legal. Ivan is legal. We know he's legal. Jeremy's got papers that I think he faked, but he's legal.
Yeah, they're forged.
Okay, they're forged.
Unless we've all seen Beardo. Those of you who watch Geeks and Gamers, we've all seen Beardo try and read super chats. All right, that one needs to go back to school.
yeah. And then you got Ryan screaming various comments that we can't say here lest we.
I have lost 50% of my hearing, if not more, because of Ryan screaming in my ear.
Now, Mr. T, we disavow this comment. No, he is not gay. We disavow. Good grief.
I don't know. Jeremy doesn't. He doesn't deny it. I'm just saying.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, look, if he's not denying, nor is he confirming. All right.
It's very sus.
So here you are, this young lady of 27 or whatever-ish.
Sure. And gosh, it was 5 years ago.
Shh, go with it. Here you are, this young lady of 26-ish, and you notice it'll keep going backwards the further we go into this thing.
Just don't make me under 18. That would be weird.
God, no. No. I don't need any like, red bar stuff going on. I don't need that crap in my life. So here you are, this young lady of X number of years, and how in the heck did you get associated with the gang from Geeks and Gamers? Because it's a natural fit, but it's not. Okay, by natural fit, I mean, here you are, a lover of playing video games, amusement parks, etc. And then you come across this bunch, and you all both look at each other and go, "My people!" All right, so tell the story.
Here's the funny part. So it's been 5 years already. So cheers to Geeks and Gamers. Actually, a little bit longer than that, because I guess technically it started in late 2018. I had created a new Twitter account in 2018 at some point, and I knew of full disclosure. Jeremy's gonna kill me. Full disclosure, but I knew of Geeks and Gamers, but I wasn't an avid Geeks and Gamers watcher at the time. Okay. My people that I watched continuously on YouTube were Theory and Anna. I watched Anna a lot, and then I would see Geeks and Gamers every now and then, their videos would pop up. But I wasn't subscribed at the time, or anything like that. I just knew who they were. So, I started getting everybody's attention because I was done and over it, and I didn't care what happened anymore. I found all of the spoilers for The Rise of Skywalker, all of them. I got they on Reddit, and I saved every single photo that this person posted, screenshot everything, because they knew. And I don't remember. I think they got to see an advanced screening. I don't remember now. It was an anonymous post. It got taken down. Doesn't matter. Kudos to that person. I saved everything, and I was like, "Come at me, Disney, let's do this." And because I was so done, and I was posting and leaking. I leaked all of it, and I was like, "Here's The Rise of Skywalker. This is what happens." Blah, blah. Anna saw me first. I think Jay saw me second, and they were just Anna used my tweets and my posts and stuff in one of her videos and tagged me, and it just kind of spiraled from there. And so Jay ended up taking notice, and then because he was interacting with me, Jeremy was like, "Who is this chick? She's everywhere. Who is this girl?" kind of thing. And then in February of 2019, he finally was like, "Hey, you want to be a member of the team?" And I was like, "I guess."
Well, there you go.
And then we started park hopping and all kinds. It's just been crazy from there. But yeah, gosh, that was 5 years ago.
And we'll get to that. Over on Rumble, TBA asked, "Does Tugs stream on Twitch?" I can say yes, sir, she does. And she does have her channel. And if you go to the advertisement section of my live stream, I have got all of her social media put out there. So you want the full Tugs? You can get it everywhere, baby. That's all I'm saying.
The full Tugs. Yes, I am on Twitch.
All right, now let's get to park hopping. you've got to tell folks about this wonderful little channel, because and I'm not saying this because you're here. I genuinely mean this. What you guys do with park hopping is genuinely one of the nicest, and I mean this, one of the nicest and coolest services that you could do for
Mm.
people, because, well, first tell everybody and then I'll finish my thought. What is park hopping?
So Park Hoppin' is Geeks and Gamers' theme park channel. It was Jay's idea. I got brought on to help him post like on social media and stuff, because as with Beardo, Jay sometimes can't form words. And
Now,
so and
wait a
it
minute.
just
Wait a minute. Is that because you can't form words? That's because of the alcohol.
he can't form words.
Oh, okay. This has nothing to do with sobriety. All right, go ahead.
He was doing it's funny. He was doing, God, the tweets are so old now. I wouldn't be able to pull an example for you, but he would do typos, and Jeremy's like, oh my gosh, buddy, get it together. So I got brought on to help with that. And then, I would go back and forth and film what I could. But it started out as this small channel that was about the theme parks, and it was critique, but it was also news, and just like every other theme park channel, but with a little bit of twist because it's Jay. And now it's grown into some crazy conglomerate. It's insane. Krista is constantly posting like little those shorts and like the reels and stuff for the Instagram and all that, and they're always there live streaming. I think they were just at Halloween Horror Nights a few days ago, and so it's really, I'm very proud of that channel and the way it's grown. I love that channel so much. So if you're into the theme parks and want positivity but also criticism, but not so much of one or the other on each side, Park Hoppin's a really good middle opportunity for you. I love that channel.
Well, and here's why I say it's probably one of the coolest services that, I mean, among other things that Geeks and Gamers does, which, I mean, and you pass this on next time you talk to him, fine. And I mean this sincerely. Jeremy, Ryan, Beardo, Jay, you, Krista, everybody that's involved, the stuff that you do on behalf of the gaming community, but also people that genuinely love entertainment, be it movies or video games or whatever, the stuff you guys do is awesome. And where park hopping is concerned, and again, with all bottom of my heart, I mean this with all sincerity, you guys are performing a service for parents, because let's be honest, economic times are tough. You got to try to decide how to allocate your money. I mean, if you have children, you want them to have the same joys and blessings and experiences that you did as a child. And you're trying to figure out, well, okay, I hear things about this park. Is it okay quality wise? Are we going to run into conversation stuff where the kid says, Mommy, why does this woman have a beard? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The service that you guys are providing is invaluable, because you have your criticisms, but it's not like, oh, this place just sucks, don't go. No, it's legitimate things like, look, if you're going to spend the money, be advised, this is what's going on. I wasn't really impressed with the food, or the quality of this ride seemed like it was a little off, etc. Just like I say, it's what you guys do there is absolutely amazing, and hat tip to you, my dear. It's truly wonderful. And so you've been part of park hopping for how many years now?
I think Jay launched Park Hoppin'. Was it early 2020? I think it was early 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was early 2020. So that was excellent timing. He's like, how are we going to make this channel grow? Everything's closed. And I was like, we are going to do fun stuff. And Krista was like, let's do like favorite rides or whatever. We can react to videos, blah, blah, blah. Because people were recreating. That was one of my favorite things on social media, is because the parks were closed. People were recreating like Disney at home. And so like they were putting their kids in boxes and like bouncing them down the hallway. Oh, we're on Pirates or whatever. It was really cute. So we did like a video like that and stuff like that. So we made it through. And then luckily, Florida was one of the first states to open back up. And once that happened, I was on a plane every freaking week, it felt like. And we were there all the time. And that just really helped the channel grow, because there wasn't many people in general that could go, weirdly enough, that were on YouTube, that were either scared to go because they didn't want to get sick still,
Exactly.
or they couldn't go because they weren't local and they couldn't travel yet or whatever. And so we took, I mean, on the one hand, thanks Spearbug, because that really helped our channel just like, and it was cool too, because we all got to kind of compare what is it like with the people? What is it like without the people? Do you like it without the people more? It was weird for me, but like Jay loved it because he didn't have to stand in any lines, that kind of thing. And so it was a really unique perspective, and that really helped their channel grow.
There you go. And Mr. T says it looks like the channel was launched January 25 of 2020. So about 2 months before all hell broke loose. And
Yep.
one of my regulars in chat has a question for you. Does anyone ever mistake your channel for That Umbrella Guy? Not gonna lie, when I first read the title for the stream, I kind of misread the name. No problem, dear. That's probably you get this, but I'll let you answer it.
Yes, it hasn't happened in a while. It has not happened in a while. But yeah, especially when I really started to blow up for a while, if you search like in the search bar or at like that, unless you put like the TUG, like the TU, if you just do that TU, I'm the first one for a while there. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's alphabetical or what, but I would pop up before him for whatever reason. So when people were trying to at him, they wouldn't be paying attention. They would hit me all, and I got tagged in some drama, and I was like, "Oh my God, help!"
I got nothing.
It hasn't happened in a while.
Let me out of it.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. This isn't me, please. But it hasn't happened in a while, but it's happened a few times.
Well, now let me ask you a question, and going back to one of the other aspects of your association with Geeks and Gamers, and also one of your loves, and that's video game playing. Mm-hmm. And every so often, this criticism, and I really can't believe it's coming from where it's coming from. You will have people on the right side of the ideological spectrum, I'm thinking Matt Walsh in particular, that drops this criticism of like, I can't believe these people are wasting time with video games. It's such a waste, and it's so immature, and I can't believe so many adults are doing this, and yada, yada, yada. As a person that loves gaming as much as you do, when you hear stuff like that, what's your response? Or, I mean, do you ignore it? Does it get under your skin? Do you like, Walsh, you moron? You just, go play Pong or something,
It honestly does not bother me because I understand. I mean, he's a little extreme with it, which newsflash, Matt Walsh is a giant troll. Like, he believes what he's saying, but he's also doing it more dramatically because it gets a rise out of people. That's who Matt Walsh is. It's who he's always been. Instead of just being like, I don't like video games, my kids don't play them, and here's why, and give his valid point, which he does have. He's like, nah, they're of the devil and they should be banned, blah, 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 because he knows that's what's going to get him the interaction, right?
Exactly.
I don't, it doesn't bother me either way. I think that there is a line. We do it, yes, as part of like a supplemental income for a lot of us, for that reason. And we will continue to do so as long as people are willing to pay for the service. I mean, again, hate the player, hate the game, not the player. But I do see what he means. And I think it's a detriment. I think too much, and I say this as somebody who loves horror movies, but too much violence, too much immersing yourself in that world, you do get desensitized to it. And we're seeing that a lot with the younger generations, just in general. One, it's on the news all the time. All this, it's never anything happy on the news, right? So people are getting desensitized. People are filming bad stuff happening, so people are getting desensitized. And so you can very easily, especially as a kid, slip into a very big problem. I remember growing up, we had a neighbor and their son was diagnosed with ADHD. Whether you believe that or not, I'll let you pick. But so he was on a bunch of meds for that, and it made him a total zombie. This poor kid, he was like 6 or 7, and they would just sit him in front of the TV and he watched horror movies all day long. That's all he watched because that's his favorite.
Okay.
10 years down the line, if you were to tell me that kid was arrested for hurting somebody beyond repair, we'll be nice about it, I would go, yeah, that makes sense, because his brain was mush at the age of 7. He sat on his couch all day and watched nothing but murder and mayhem. That makes perfect sense. So I think there's a balance. I do think there's a balance. I don't think they're childish. I don't think anything like that. It is what it is. But I think that there is a childish behavior that can happen if you're not careful. Even as an adult, we get so wrapped up in it, and it's fine. But Matt Walsh, he's allowed to have his opinions, and he's not wrong. He's just exuberant about it. And everybody gets all triggered. And I'm like,
exuberant is probably a good word for Matthew. That's a good way to describe him, among other things you could say. Which, by the way, I have to thank you. I just want you to know that through all the things that you do with gaming, the games you stream online and whatever, you've got me inspired. So I have gone out. I have got me the most up to date techie thing. I am ready to dive into the modern video game era, baby. I am.
Oh my gosh. If you can get this thing to work, in all seriousness, if you can get this thing to work, that will be the most impressive. Not only work, I'm sure it works, but not only work, but is able to stream to a platform, you will win. I will quit. I will quit YouTube.
No, I'm
That
just
would be
pulling your leg.
amazing.
I'm doing that for dramatic effect because everybody's gonna be like, boy, he is old. My God, I didn't realize it was that damned ancient. It's like, Jesus.
That would be amazing. Oh man. I mean, everybody's getting into it. Like even Chrissy Mayer has started streaming
Yeah,
video
I
games
saw
now.
that.
So it's just like you get into it. It's a fun little release and people love it, especially us girls. People love geeks and gamers and they love the boys. They're yelling at each other, they're calling each other names, they're doing insults. But for us girls, it's a totally different audience because some of you were in the chat, I see you, are like, oh, you're having a great and calm gaming. Here, let me play this really loud noise and scare you and then laugh. They love it. My guys love me playing the stupid horror games, which it's coming back up. Halloween season's coming back. I don't want to, but it's funny, right? So it's an entertainment thing, and it helps that I kind of know what I'm doing. So,
Now it's been rumored that I might have been one of those individuals that drops some kind of like noise in unexpectedly and wants you like, pop about a foot out of your chair. But
yeah,
okay,
I've had to start wearing diapers.
You don't need to confirm that I was doing that, Anyway, we got a question. We got a question from the audience from one of a fellow content creator and just a hell of a nice guy himself, who is affectionately nicknamed the Professor, aka Christian Watson. Ask Tugs what she thinks of the decline of flat. Okay, now this is gamer terminology, so I'm going to let you take this one.
What is this? I don't even know what this is. I'm not a professional.
Wars, raft wars, mini clips, etc. Oh, okay. This might take a little. Okay.
I'm old, not that old. Do I know what these are? I'm going to Google it.
All right. Well, you Google, and while you're doing that,
maybe I might if I see it.
I'm going to give you the chance to multitask here. So she's Googling and I'm pulling up something else. And I'll tell you what, while she's Googling, let me commercial for both of us here. If you've happened on this live stream and you're seeing these two fabulous people having a conversation with each other and you're saying, what the heck is all this? First of all, you have found your way to Chattin On The Porch, which is hosted on my channel, The Front Porch Conservative. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and give me a sub on Rumble and on YouTube. And by the way, this fabulous lady to my stage right, or stage left, I don't know. You guys figured out. This lady over here is ThatTuggLife, who is the hostess of her own channels on any number of different platforms, and one of the nicest people you're ever going to run into on social media, which, we here at the Electronic Front Porch believe in good quality people, and she is most certainly good quality people. So, okay, Christian has clarified that. He says browser games.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to think like some browser games are also available as apps, PC games, or consoles. I didn't know that they were declining. I don't know that I've played a whole lot of them. But I know now that I know what they are.
Okay.
I think I didn't know they were in decline. I am a fake gamer. I don't know. I didn't know that they were in decline. I think they're kind of making a comeback, and this is not the same thing, but it kind of reminds me of like us old timers trying to find a way to play our older games that we can't anymore. And there's like ports. But I don't know if that's the same. I don't know if that's the same kind of thing or if these are games that are just in browser only. I'm trying to think. I know like the little cheesy bingo games and stuff like that are probably part of that, but I think it's sad because I don't know. Just knowing from what you're telling me in the chat, like the fact that they're declining, that's kind of sad. But didn't Flash games lead to indie gaming? Wasn't that?
Well, funny you should say that because one of my regular wingnuts over on Rumble, WWG1, says great grand gamers, Flash and Shockwave were found to be extremely full of holes that hackers could take advantage of. Flash and Shockwave language sucks. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Shockwave.
Yeah, WWG1, as this gets into terminology of something I do not understand, I shall take your word for it, sir.
Yeah. Oh my God, I forgot all about Shockwave. But yeah, that makes sense. And Z Highness says Disney and Nick used to have websites. Oh, okay. Yes, those. Yeah.
Okay.
Everything was very hackable, but it's still a bummer. It's
Yeah,
still a bummer that it's declining because honestly, carrying around games all the time is exhausting.
indeed. All right. So before we get to the next topic, it's your turn.
Ooh, well, cheers to Matt Walsh and his hatred of video games.
May he pull the two by four out of his rear end sometime soon. There you go.
May
Cheers,
he
darling.
continue to say things in a way that irritates people.
And God knows he'll succeed at that. Tally ho. Wow, that stuff is really good. All right. Now this sort of leads us to a discussion of one of the more precious people in your life outside of the Duke and your family. As a matter of fact, many people would argue that frankly, this person is your spouse. It's just no one really realizes it yet. That leads us to a discussion of X-Ray
Look
Girl.
at her face.
And she's going to kick my rear end when she sees this live stream. She'll be like,
Oh, that's gonna be
front
me on
porch,
Saturday.
front porch. Well, we'll get to that here in a minute. X-Ray Girl. Okay, you two. How do I describe the two of you? There's an expression in my neck of the woods that you two, and the expression goes like this: you two are so thick, one will lie and the other one will swear to it.
Oh, thick as
Okay.
thieves.
Yeah, thick as thieves. Y'all are so tight together. One lies and the other swears to it. Okay. And that's you and X-Ray Girl. So for people who don't know about her, I mean, laying aside the fact she's senior executive producer on Friday Night Tights, Nerdrotics channel, and a whole bunch of other stuff she does on the side.
She controls Gary, which is a fun fact.
Thank
When
God.
Melissa's not around.
Thank God. That's all I'm saying. I mean, hey, look, if you, my audience, think I boomer stuff, let me introduce you to the original boomer, okay? Bless
I
his
said
heart.
to her, so the meetup in Dallas, right? She
All right.
was in San Antonio with Gary, in person, instead of just trying to remote in and like all this stuff, like so she could do her job. And she was like, oh my gosh, it was so much easier because I could just be like, move and let me do it. You know what I mean? Instead of doing face to face or on the phone trying to get him to do something. It was just so funny.
Now this description of you and X-Ray Girl is about right. Just about right.
Hopefully we don't meet the same end.
Amen. Preach it on, sister. So, all right, let's get to the story. How is it that you and X-Ray Girl met? What caused the two of you to realize I found me a friend? But more important, when was that Starsky and Hutch moment? Now, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's that moment when Ben Stiller looks at Luke Wilson, says, I like your moves. The other says, I like your style. When did you two realize, oh, we need to start doing some stuff because we could obviously have a hell of a lot of fun together?
She would probably remember exactly more than I would, but it did all start like we started. So she's been with Mark for forever and a day, but before she showed her face, which I don't know if anybody remembers this from back in the day when she first started streaming, like when she first started being around the crew, she wouldn't show her face. Like we had her on Geeks Game, which is to do a girl stream, and like she would be off camera. She had like a little avatar or whatever. Because of her job, she didn't want her face to be shown, which is totally respectable.
Sure.
But she would play Mario Kart with us on Sundays sometimes. And one night she couldn't be there because she had to work. So it was me. And we're playing, and Mark is playing. And
now for those who don't know,
husband.
Mark is okay. All right, Mark is her husband.
At the time, not her husband, but still her significant other. And in Mario Kart, he took my like little mystery box. He's right in front of me racing. And I was like, oh my God, Mark, you took my box. And he goes, sorry, babe. And I was like, I wasn't going to say anything because, okay, it's slick. We sounded like, if not so much anymore now, you guys know us more. But back in the day, we sounded like, if I wasn't on camera, you didn't know, like is that extra girl? We do sound alike without faces being shown. So
right.
Sorry, babe. There was probably a good half a second to a second dead silence. And I wasn't going to bring it up. Ryan, because he's Ryan, goes, did you just effing call her babe? And completely embarrassed the poor guy. So I guess when that next day he had gone to X-ray girl and was like, I'm so sorry, I did something wrong, but what I was like feeling really guilty about it. And she was like, okay, it's fine, it's not a big deal. So we kind of bonded over that because it was just so funny. So the next time she played with us, we would kind of go back and forth. They'd be like, no, I'm babe, or whatever, and kind of and the chat was all in it. So we kind of developed a friendship that way. And for the life of me, it just was natural. I can't remember now. It was just, we both like wine and we were both having fun. And I think it must have been one of the meetups, maybe, or maybe she came on one of the girl streams and I don't know. I don't remember. It's been so long now, but we bonded just so well and we play off each other really well. And she's my agent soulmate.
No, she really is. I mean, I have, and we'll get to one of the other things you two are known for momentarily. But watching the two of you, it is like a great comedy duo. It's just like one. I mean, you guys are so in sync to each other that one starts the thought and the other one finishes it. It's just joyously, gloriously happy to watch. It's like two people having this much fun, doing what they love. Yeah, too much fun, doing what they love, being themselves. You two have traveled various places together. The Boston some of the videos from the Boston meetup from a few years back. Oh Lord Almighty, those things were just uproariously funny.
One of my
For
favorite.
those of you who have never seen them, I recommend you start digging through either X-Ray Girls channel or Tugs' channel because
they're on the Poor Choices channel. I think.
Okay, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. We were a little. We share a room usually. If Mark's not going, we'll share a hotel room, the two of us, and that's just it's all that. Those streams are still. I'm pretty sure they're still up for the boss. And we were very litty. We were very very buzzed.
Oh Lord, have mercy!
All right,
now that leads me. Well, first of all, next topic. But before we do, to wine. Helping people survive planet Earth for 7,000 years. Tally ho!
Yep. And do you see my Poor Choices glass?
And that just happens to be the subject of our next thing. But I've got to do this right. I've got to play y'all's intro. So give me a sound check out there, folks, because I think you're going to get a kick out of this. Okay, first of all, I got to ask you, and I know the answer to this question. Who made that intro?
Ivan, our lovely Ivan Ortega. Shout out to Ivan Ortega. I think he's still on. Oh my gosh, what's that? Weebs and Waifus. I think he still runs that channel.
Oh my god, yeah, that is one of the coolest. Channel. That is one of the coolest. I don't care whose live stream it is. I don't care what they're talking about. The production quality, and please, when next you talk to Ivan, give him my compliments, number one, but number two, and I mean this in all sincerity, the production quality on that is absolutely amazing. It really is. I mean, it's just
so good. I didn't think it was going to be that. Like, we were just looking for something. We didn't even think fancy. But he was like, "Oh, I have some experience," and we're like, "Okay."
Oh, okay.
And he dropped that, and I was like, "Ivan, you need a pay raise."
So we had a William Defoe. Well, I'm kind of a big deal in intro
I'm
making.
kind of a big deal myself. It's fine. I was like, "Sir, you need several pay raises." Like,
okay, so let's talk about this fabulous little channel that you and X-Ray Girl host, and that is Poor Choices.
Look at us! Look at our cute little 4,000 subscribers.
I know, and I remember when this channel got started. I mean, I wasn't there for the very first episode, but I can remember y'all starting out. Now, correct me if I'm wrong on my details, but as I recall, the channel mostly revolved around your all's review of certain television shows, The Bachelorette, all sorts of other things, and over time, it has evolved, and honestly, and I mean this in all sincerity, I'm not blowing smoke at you here. you guys are doing, again, another wonderful service in that you're creating a place and a space where people can come and talk about a lot of things that are going on from a cultural standpoint in an area that gets talked about, but not really the way it should. And that is the relationships between men and women and what, is going on in our modern world as far as, you know, what should men be toward women? What should women be toward men? What should people expect in relationships? Why do marriages work? Why do they fail? All that. When you and X-Ray Girl started this thing, did you have any idea that was going to evolve into that, or just sort of you guys got together like,
No.
it seems to be like a direction we're going. Let's sort of just play with this and roll.
We started Poor Choices because, listen, don't take this offensively.
I would
Geeks and
never.
Gamers men, don't take it as an offense. All right, but we're sick of your crap. We were sick of the same old. It's nothing but pop, which is fine. It's nothing wrong with it. But she and I were like, God, I just want something different. Like, doesn't talk about how Neil Druckmann is this douche nozzle and blah 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 blah, and this, that, and blah blah blah. All the pop culture stuff. It's all the same stuff, right? You find the same topics on Gary's channel that you do on Jeremy, and it's fine. That is their thing, and it's great, and it's working, and we love their channels. But we were like, we want something different. We want something that like maybe girls can relate to, just like maybe, because we have girls in this community. They're out there somewhere, and they don't always want to talk about this kind of stuff. Like, we're still women at the end of the day. We like makeup and wine and hair and nails and whatever. And so we were talking about it, and I was like, well, I mean, we could do like a show where we, drink wine and talk about, I don't know, like women pop culture, like the Kardashians or something, throwing ideas out there. And she was like, oh yeah, no, I love reality TV. And I was like, you do? What do you watch? And she's like, well, what do you watch? And I'm like, well, I watch 90 Day Fiance and The Bachelor and blah 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 and this and the other. And she's like, oh my God, me too. And so that's how it started. So it was more of like it was still pop culture commentary, but about the girly stuff that these guys are never gonna touch with a 10-foot pole, right? Unless it's like, a member of the Rainbow Brigade leading the charge kind of thing. They were never going to touch it. That's not their thing. And so I was like, yeah, let's do that. And so it started out with that. We did The Bachelor. We did 90 Day Fiance. We had Legal Mindset on, because apparently he watches it. Chris Gore watches 90 Day Fiance. So it was kind of fun. And then we started doing like, well, let's interview, some dads in the group and get their perspective on all the things that are changing. We did that, and we did that time of the month with the ladies. And it was, so it kind of evolved into a little bit more, to expand our audience. And then in 2022, late 2021, early 2022, my friend CJ, who some of you know already, was like, you need to watch these people. And he sent me the Fresh and Fit, dear God, Fresh and Fit's YouTube channel. And I was like, first of all, these men need to take several seats. Like, they need to calm down. But the things they were talking about, I was like, kind of applying it to my own personal life and going, oh no, and so I then shared it with her, and I was like, you got to watch this. Like, ignore the men, like, ignore these guys, they're annoying, but like, here's like Pearl at the time was real big. We watched Pearl, we watched I can't pronounce her name right, Galatea, I think her name is. Mark was on her show, the British lady. She kind of talks about it a little bit. Anyway, all these kind of red pill situations, Ali D and Rebecca Barrett and all these guys. And so we were like, oh my God, we got to start talking about this, because we were both so flabbergasted by it. And it's not wrong information, although I think Fresh and Fit take it a little like, calm down. But it's not wrong information. So we kind of talked about like, oh, let's talk about this and the whatever podcast and all the clips and whatever. And so then that's how it grew into what it is now, which is commentary on still kind of pop culture, because we do talk about, we just talked about Bachelor the other day, not extensively, but the new Bachelorette and how she wasn't doing anything traditionally and whatever it was, and things like that. But now it's turned into like this pop culture commentary about relationships and dating. Interesting situation. But yeah, it's more, I mean, we got a lot of men which kudos to you men, because they find it interesting having two girls' perspective on this stuff. And sometimes they get a little testy in the chat at us, which is fair, because we're still girls. And it's been great. I love it. I love where that channel has gone. I had no idea the channel was going to go there, but here we are.
Yeah, I mean, and it's grown so much since it got started. I mean, I remember when you guys, you
Yeah.
got 500, then you got to 1,000, then you got to 15 and 2, and I was like, go, just go, because I mean, and
Yeah.
again, I'm not trying to blow smoke at you. Again, you and X-Ray Girl are performing, something that needs conversations that need to happen. Because I mean, look, I mean, and this is a question I want to ask you, but I'll get to the question here in a second. You guys again are performing something, a service that needs to happen. People need to have a space where they can talk about some of these expectations and trends that are going on in relationships and marriages and everything else. It's just plain crazy, but people are like, I don't feel like I can talk about this with anybody. Well,
Mhm.
you guys create this wonderful atmosphere where, and you guys are the most, I shouldn't say guys, you ladies create the most chilled atmosphere I've ever seen. I mean, usually when the second that the intro gets done, you two are holding a glass. It's like, hello, and
Here we
and off,
are.
and
We're
off
going
you
to
two
talk
go.
about men today. Yay. And all the
Exactly.
men in the chat are like, you're going to
Mm,
be wrong. And we're
It's
like,
like,
that's
yeah,
fine.
it's like, oh, SOB, they're gonna bash on us again, son of a. With that, I got a couple of comments over on the Rumble side. WWG1 says, I hear the sorority girls have pillow fights in their dorm room, something like that. No, the show's a little more highbrow than that, my friend. TBA says, so where angels fear to tread, these two gals go gallivanting in their G&G Vino. Cool. Let's see. I once knew a woman who was divorced 3 or 4 times who wanted to be a relationship coach. I wasn't sure she had the right stuff to make a career of it. TBA, you're probably right with your instinct on that one, my friend. Just saying. Now,
That is that.
there is a question on the Rumble side.
Mhm.
And that is, and this goes back to gaming. WWG1 says, have you ever played Colossal Cave? Does that game sound familiar? Okay, not so much.
No. Listen, I
Uh,
like to game. I'm not a professional. Caveat, not a professional.
now, this gentleman apparently has his own
Hi,
unique
Jonathan.
perspective on being a mod for your channel. Yes, I could just imagine being a mod for the Poor Choices channel. It can be very interesting. I tell you
Something
what,
for the most
go
part,
ahead.
everybody's pretty chill. Every now and then we get somebody that comes in that is just like, women are stupid and you guys should shut up and blah, 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 blah. And then the mods have to be like, calm down. But for the most part, everybody's super chill. Even when they're disagreeing with us, it's not, they still come back. Like they're not rage quitting like some people do. So that's
Now,
nice. Appreciate you guys.
now, I'm sorry. How did they sound again? What was that? I just yeah,
Women suck and we hate you and you should just shut up.
just kidding.
That's how I
Tell
read
you,
your comments.
it's top of the hour, so let me do a real quick advertisement for both of us. This lovely young lady is ThatTuggLife. She has channels on YouTube, Twitch, Kick, Twitter. She's all over the place. And sub to her channel, daggone it, because she's within a hair of 1,000. Let's
I'm so
get this
close.
girl. Let's get this girl over the top. And my lovely person is known as the Front Porch Conservative. I've got channels on Rumble and YouTube. And please give me some subs, because much like this lovely young lady, I'm trying to get to 1,000, and I'm just dead close. Daggone it.
We're both so close. I was looking
I
at
know.
yours earlier.
So far away. Doesn't I stay on plane? All
We'll get
right,
there.
let me get the keys. You're driving. All right. Now, with the remaining time we've got, I've got to
Mhm.
ask you about a rumor that is
Oh no.
floating around the internet where you're
Oh boy.
concerned. There is a name that's associated with yours, and this has been going on now for a couple of years. And I don't know if anyone has confronted with you with this directly, but you know what? I consider us friends. And you know what? Here is our opportunity to finally put this to bed.
No, no.
Um, do you know who this guy is? And um, does he have a name?
Look at him.
And what is his affiliation with you? Because I have heard some things, but we're going to give you the chance to clear the air on this whole deal. So, who is this guy, and how does he know
I
you?
he's just some dude I paid to drive me across the country.
Oh, okay. Well, so long as you got a
I'm
plan,
just
there you go.
I'm just look out. Look it. You can this picture. We took this picture after arriving in Texas. I can't remember where.
Now
After
wait a minute.
driving
Now
from
wait.
Vegas.
Who is this man, for heaven's sake?
This is my boyfriend, Duke, which is not his
Dude.
real name, but I'm not allowed to say his real name. But his name
Well,
is Duke.
all right. Now, just out of curiosity, I have to take some credit where your two's
Yes.
relationship is concerned. And let me explain this story for the benefit of the audience. And so Tugs comes on Poor Choices one night and announces that she has a man in her life and doesn't really say that much about him, but she gives the following descriptor. She says, he's from Texas and he rides horses. Well, my brain being what it is, the first thing I did was I typed into chat, "Oh, you're dating the Duke."
The Duke.
Well, all of a sudden,
Yep.
and most, now not all, there were some votes for Maverick, but
Oh yeah.
for the most part, everybody's like, "Duke, the Duke. Oh, she's dating the Duke." And I put my phone down and I went, "Son of a bitch!" I tagged him with his social media handle.
Yep.
I'm good.
He's been called the Duke ever since. He's been called Duke ever since.
All right, so tell it. All right, obviously, tell us about how you guys met. If you don't want to, I mean, details are up to you.
Yeah.
Tell us how you met this young man. How long have you two been dating, and
Look at
et
his
cetera, and
face.
so on.
He's so cute.
Oh
We
God,
met
now
at.
you get gushy. Jesus, babe.
You cannot tell. I mean, you can tell by my face, but you cannot tell by his face. We've been driving for like 2 days at this point. We met in March of 2022 at my roommate at the time's brother's wedding. Yeah. Yeah, he was in the wedding. And he was very aloof the whole night, but I was like, I want that one.
Oh,
And I set my sights on him.
I
We were out till
want
4 in the
that
morning.
one. Like he's up
Talking
on
and
the
hanging out.
shelf or something. I want that
Yeah,
one.
that one. How much does that one cost? Perfect. Thank you. But yeah, he was all the other guys, and I don't say this to like be egotistical. It just wasn't it is what it is. Like I think I was the only single girl at this wedding. So for those of you who have been the only single man or woman at a wedding, weddings get everybody in their feels. And all of the single guys at the wedding were just like, they were here all night. And I was like, I mean, they were super nice. A couple of them needed to chill. But like nothing, but this one, I was like, he's cute. And I had seen him the night before at like the wedding rehearsal. And I just was like, he's so cute. Who is this? Who is this guy? And come to find out he's in the wedding. And we met. I marched myself over and was introducing. I was like, why aren't you dancing with me? And he's like, you have all these men. I don't need to dance with you. And I was like, kind of thing. And he was just playing coy. But in the end, I ended up winning because I kept him out till 4 a.m. and we went to an Indian casino, and which was a bad idea. And I had entirely too much drink, and it was fun. And he was my Uber.
Yeah, Robert seems to remember this part of the story. He was a really good Uber driver. 5 a.m. or whatever.
And yeah, so the next day, I gave him my phone number. He did like this move. He put his phone on the table because we were at the house, the bride's parents' house, catching up and like saying goodbyes, whatever. And he put his phone on the table and like slid it and was like, "Let me get that number." And yeah, and then I didn't hear from him for months. I'll call him out. I didn't hear from him we talked for like 2 weeks straight. Didn't hear from him for months. And then August of 2022, he messaged me out of the blue and was like, "Hey, stranger, haven't heard from you in a while." And I was like, "Oh, absolutely not." So I messaged him and said, "Oh, really? Pot me kettle, blah, blah, blah." I went off, this poor guy. And come to find out, there was a girl that he has been seeing that blocked me from his phone. Not just me, a couple of women from his phone because she was super jealous. And anyway, so that's why I hadn't heard from him for months and vice versa.
Okay.
So we started talking in August during the meetup, actually, that weekend. And he flew down the first weekend. That was the end of August, first weekend of September. He flew down and we spent a whole week together. And he hasn't left my side since. And I haven't left his side since. So that was 2 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Now, folks, you may notice this young lady's background, and you may be saying, "Wow, I don't know what she spent on that green screen, but that really looks very authentic." Now, for those who are looking at that and they're thinking that they're seeing a green screen, would you mind telling everyone where you are, or I should say, what you are in right now?
We live in a travel trailer. It's a Grand Design Transcend that you hook up to a pickup truck and drive across the country, and I love it in here. It's a little hot because it's summer, but it's
I
that's where
didn't
we're
know
at now.
Texas had any other temperature other than hot.
January gets pretty cold. We had ice last year when we first moved here. This past January, actually, got like freezing temperatures. We had to go buy water and everything because our pipes froze.
There you go. There you go.
Who knew? Not me. But
Exactly.
yeah.
So
So
let me ask you, how do you like glamping? Because let's be honest, that's what you're doing. You're doing
I
glamping.
like it. I love it. I honestly really love this trailer. It's nice. You can see like it's super spacious, especially the kitchen. We have a whole bedroom over there that's separated off. So it's got like the door, it's got a full shower and bath, like a full bath. It's really, really nice. It's really nice. The only thing I miss is like having my setup with my figures and my photos and like that. But it's been good. And we have not gotten on each other's nerves being in a small, teeny tiny space, which is impressive because I am a girl and I like to be around my man all the time. So, but yeah, I really like it. So I like it.
Well, congratulations. So I'll tell you what, I know we've got just a few minutes left now. What is I mean, there you are, you and the Duke are in Texas. Of course, the Duke is in Texas. If the Duke weren't in Texas, where else would he be? All right. So the two of you are in Texas. You've got this life ahead of you. You're streaming, you're doing and you've got your own YouTube channel, which if I did not show it to people before, shame on me. And folks, give this young lady a subscription because bless her heart, 23 is all she needs.
Oh my gosh, I am so close. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was that close.
So I mean, you've got this channel, you've got Twitch, you got Kick, you got Twitter, you got Geeks and Gamers. What's the future hold for ThatTuggLife? I mean, where do you see all this going for yourself?
Oh gosh. Well, hopefully it goes well in general, and the world doesn't end in November. And I can grow the channel and have it be like a bit of an extra income because I don't work now, I'm stay at home. So hopefully things go well in November and I can keep that as far as the economy goes. But yeah, I'm really enjoying, like, I do mostly gaming streams. Sometimes I do like I call it Tugs Talks, where I kind of recap crazy things that are going on. Again, pop culture kind of thing. And just talk about that. I live streamed the debate last week, the week before. That was fun. But yeah, I just hope it grows. And then we're looking to buy a house, hopefully permanently set roots down here. You never know what the future holds, and buy a house, and hopefully I'll have some chickens. And yeah, marriage.
Yeah, yes, you seem all. I tell you what, I remember the posts you put out. You are all about the farm life. You are all about if you could wake up every morning to the sound of the rooster crowing and walk out and hear the quiet and drink a cup of coffee and all that and just do your thing, you would be, oh my goodness. Oh, link to her channel in chat. Well, boys, I will fix that right now. Yeah, by all means, let's help this girl out. All right, there you go on the YouTube side, and Rumble. There you go too. Give this girl a sub, bless her heart. All right, so I'll tell you what. I know you've got to get ready for another stream that you're doing tonight, and absolutely, and I mean this, you are welcome back here anytime you want. You have keys to the kingdom. You met. Hey, look, not that I'm trying to be snooty about this, but if I invite you on my channel, assuming that you do not something so egregious to offend me as a host, which you haven't.
Thank God.
Well, no, you got a lot of rope before you get to the end of that one. But yeah, I mean, anytime you want to come back on here, you got keys to the kingdom. You get to walk up on the electronic front porch anytime you want. All you got to do is message me and go, I got something burning on the brain. I want to talk about it. I'm like, okay, done. So as we get ready to wrap this thing up, where can people find you? What can they do to best support you? And by the way, what is this I hear about you're getting ready to build Frankenstein on Saturday? What's this?
Listen,
something about that?
For those of you that know anything about this, I know Jonathan, hopefully Jonathan could be there for a lot of it. I know you've got to work, but I pushed my stream back a little bit. This Saturday, the 21st, my lovely followers and subscribers have crowdfunded me a brand new computer, which is in pieces. Ignore that. That's all donation, but it's all here. And Saturday, I will be doing a bimbo build Extra Girl's like, you have to call it a bimbo build. And I'm going to put it together with all of your help.
A bimbo build, you say?
Yeah,
a bimbo build? What?
Oh,
goodness.
So I will be building my brand new computer from scratch, putting all the doodads and the what's-its in that beautiful tower case there, which I've never done before. So I'll be over here in the living area with you guys propped up on Duke's laptop. So if you can make that and you have any knowledge, please help. Please help me.
Well, Ruben's got some good news for you, sister.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Anything we can do to help out Good Heart, we're going to try and do it. All right, so let's wrap it. Where can people find you on social media?
Oh, right.
What can you do to help you out?
I am on pretty much everywhere. ThatTuggLife. You can't miss me. I'm on Kick, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. I do have a Rumble. I don't really post a whole lot there because unless you're doing stuff like this or like political news commentary or something, it's not a big gaming platform. But I do have one. If you want to follow me over there, you can. But mostly you'll find me on Kick, Twitch, and YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, folks, I want to thank you for being here. This has been, and I'm not saying this just because it's you. This has been a load of fun for me because, most people see the serious side of my channel. This is the side where I get to cut loose with somebody who just knows how to have fun. And believe me, if you've ever had the pleasure of being around Tugs in IRL and you get the chance to do it. This lady is a hoot, and no doubt about it.
So much fun.
Amen to that. Hang on one second. We'll say some proper goodbyes. Folks, I will be back this Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. for Front Porch Brunch, where we're going to be going over some items in the news as we are wont to do. And yes, by all means. Oh, by the way, there's an update, dear.
Ooh, thank you guys. Everybody was like, wait, there's some girl's going to build a computer. Sign me up.
Guys, I'll be back this Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m. Keep on subbing. Let's get this girl over 1,000 before the end of the night. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you guys this Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. This young lady is going to be building Frankenstein sometime on Saturday. Find her channel, hit the bell for notifications, help her out. And in the meanwhile, we love you guys. Have a great night.
Cheers.